Everyone tells you renting is throwing money away. Buy a house. Build equity. Stop making your landlord rich. It's the American dream. What they don't tell you? Buying a house in 2026 might be the worst financial decision you'll ever make. The median home price in America is $420,000. 20% down is $84,000. Your monthly payment? $3,200. And you won't see a profit for 8 to 12 years, if you're lucky. I'm going to show you the real math on renting versus buying. Not what real estate agents want you to see, not what your parents believe because it worked in 1985. The truth, with actual numbers. And I'm going to tell you when renting is smarter and when buying makes sense. Because the answer isn't the same for everyone. Subscribe if you're tired of people telling you what you should do with your money without showing you the actual math. My name is Sarah, and I need to tell you something that's going to make some people very angry. Home ownership is sold as the path to wealth. For many people in 2026, it's the path to being broke with a big asset you can't access. Let me show you why. Start with a real example. The median home price in America right now is $420,000. Let's say you buy that median home. You put down 20%. That's $84,000. Most people don't have that, but let's assume you do, because if you don't, the math gets even worse with PMI. You finance $336,000. Current mortgage rates are around 6.5% for a 30-year fixed. Your monthly payment, just principal and interest, is $2,130. But that's not your total monthly cost. That's just the mortgage. Property tax. Depends on your state, but national average is around 1.1% of home value per year. On a $420,000 home, that's $4,620 per year. That's $385 per month. Let's round to $400. Homeowners insurance. National average is $1,800 per year. That's $150 per month. HOA fees. If your home is in a neighborhood with an HOA, and many are, that's anywhere from $100 to $500 per month. Let's say $200. Maintenance. The rule of thumb is 1% of your home value per year. On a $420,000 home, that's $4,200 per year. That's $350 per month. And that's just average. Some years it's zero. Some years your HVAC dies and it's $8,000. Add it up. Mortgage $2,130, property tax $400, insurance $150, HOA $200, maintenance $350. Your total monthly cost to own this home is $3,230. Now let's talk about first-year costs that people forget. Home inspection before you buy, $500, appraisal, $600. Closing costs typically 2% of the purchase price. On a $420,000 home, that's $8,400. You're at $9,500 before you even get the keys. Moving costs, $1,000 if you're doing it yourself. More if you hire movers. Immediate repairs and upgrades. The inspector found things. The house needs paint. You want to change the carpet. You need window treatments. Conservatively, $3,000. To furniture for a bigger space. You were in a 2-bedroom apartment, now you have a 3-bedroom house. You need more stuff. Another $2,000 minimum. You're $15,000 to $18,000 deep before you've lived there 1 month. On top of your $84,000 down payment, you're $100,000 in before you've made your first mortgage payment. Now here's the part about equity that everyone gets wrong. Your $2,130 mortgage payment in year 1, about $1,900 of that is interest. Only $230 is going to principal. That's your equity. You're paying $3,230 per month total to live in this house. And you're building $230 per month in equity. Do the math with me. $3,230 minus $230 equals $3,000. You're paying $3,000 per month to live there. That's not building wealth. That's expensive rent with extra steps and a huge upfront cost. Okay, now let's look at renting in the same market. A comparable 3-bedroom house in the same area rents for about $2,400 per month. That's typical. Rent is usually 60 to 75% of what the monthly ownership cost would be. Your monthly costs as a renter. Rent, $2,400. Renter's insurance, $25. That's it. Total monthly cost, $2,425. What you don't pay. No maintenance. Water heater breaks? Landlord's problem. Roof leaks? Landlord's problem. AC dies in July? Landlord's problem. No property tax. No HOA. No closing costs. No down payment tying up your cash. Compare the monthly costs. $3,230 to own. $2,425 to rent. That's an $805 per month difference. Now I can hear you. But Sarah, I'm throwing away $2,400 per month in rent. I'll never see that money again. Okay. And the homeowner is throwing away about $3,000 per month in interest, taxes, insurance, and maintenance that doesn't build equity. You're both spending money to have shelter. The renter is just honest about it. But here's where it gets really interesting. What if you invested that $805 per month difference? Over 10 years, $805 per month at 8% average return becomes $147,000. And you still have your flexibility and no maintenance headaches. Now let's talk about the down payment, that $84,000 you would have put down on the house. What if you invested that instead? $84,000 invested at 8% for 10 years becomes $181,000. So as a renter, you invested your down payment and you invested the monthly difference. You have $328,000 in investments after 10 years. Meanwhile, the homeowner has a house that's maybe appreciated to $550,000, but they still owe $280,000 on the mortgage. Their equity is $270,000, minus the $25,000 it'll cost to sell it with realtor commissions. They're at $245,000. The renter is $83,000 wealthier, and the renter can access that $328,000. The homeowner's wealth is locked in a house they're living in. But wait, I'm missing something, right? Home appreciation. The house goes up in value over time. That's how you build wealth. Let me show you the break-even analysis. This is where the truth lives. You buy that $420,000 house. When do you actually come out ahead versus renting and investing? You need to factor in all the costs. Transaction costs when you buy. $8,400 in closing costs. Transaction costs when you sell. 6% realtor commission. If you sell for $420,000, that's $25,200 out of your proceeds. 10 years of maintenance, $350 per month. That's $42,000 total. Opportunity cost of your down payment. $84,000 not invested for 10 years cost you $97,000 in gains you would have had. Add it up. $84,000 down, $8,400 closing costs, $42,000 opportunity cost. You've invested $231,400 total into this homeownership decision over 10 years. For you to break even, the home needs to be worth $651,400 when you sell, after you pay the 6% commission. That's 55% appreciation over 10 years. That's 4.5% annually. Historical home appreciation averages 3 to 4% per year nationally. Some markets do better, some do worse. But if you're counting on 4.5% every year for 10 years, you're gambling. You probably won't break even for 10 to 12 years. And that's if the market cooperates. If we have another 2008, you could be underwater for 15 years. Let me show you a real scenario comparison. Buyer. After 10 years, they own a home worth $550,000. They've paid about $400,000 total over those 10 years in mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Their equity is $150,000 after selling costs. Renter. They paid $291,000 in rent over 10 years. They invested the $805 monthly difference. That's $147,000. They invested the $84,000 down payment. That's $181,000. Total investments, $328,000. Minus the rent they paid, they're still net positive by $37,000 compared to the buyer. But here's the real difference. The renter's $328,000 is liquid. They can access it, they can use it. The buyer's $150,000 is locked in their house. To access it, they have to sell and move, or take out a loan, and pay interest. Let that sink in. Now, I'm not saying never buy a house. I'm saying do the math first, and be honest about your life. Buying makes sense when 6 things are true. 1. You're staying in that location for 7 to 10 years minimum. The longer you stay, the more time you have to recover transaction costs and build equity. If you're unsure where your career or life is headed, renting gives you flexibility. 2. You have 20% down saved. If you're buying with 3% or 5% down, you're paying PMI. That's another $200 to $300 per month burned on insurance that protects the lender, not you. Don't buy until you have 20%. 3. Your total housing payment is 25% or less of your take-home pay, not your gross, your take-home. If you make $6,000 per month after taxes, your payment should be $1,500 maximum. This leaves room for investing in life. 4. You're buying below your means. The bank will approve you for way more than you should spend. They approved me for $550,000. I bought a $320,000 house. Buy conservative. 5. You've built your one income foundation first. If you're a couple and you need both incomes to afford the payment, you're one job loss away from foreclosure. Structure your life so you can survive on one income. 6. The market is stable or undervalued. If homes are selling in bidding wars for $50,000 over asking with waived inspections, you're buying at the peak. Wait, if all 6 of those conditions are true, buying might make sense. But be honest with yourself. Buying is an emotional decision that needs financial sense behind it. It's okay to want a home. It's okay to want a yard and stability and to paint the walls whatever color you want. But acknowledge that it's a lifestyle choice, not always a wealth-building move. I wanted a house. I bought one last year. But I waited until all 6 conditions were true. And I bought $150,000 below what I was approved for. My payment is 18% of my take-home. I still invest $2,500 per month. That's the balance. So when is renting smarter? More often than you think. Renting makes sense when you're staying in a location less than 5 years. Job might change. Career is growing. You're exploring cities. You're not sure about the relationship. Life is in flux. Rent. When you don't have 20% down, better to rent and save aggressively than to buy with 5% down. Pay PMI and be underwater immediately if the market dips. When home prices are 5 times your annual income or more, that's a sign the market is overvalued. In a healthy market, homes cost 2 to 3 times income. If you make $80,000 and homes are $400,000, the market is expensive. Rent and wait. When you're building your emergency fund or paying off debt, that $84,000 down payment could be 2 years of living expenses saved. That's security. That's freedom. A house is not security if you're one emergency away from foreclosure. When your career is in flux, starting a business, going back to school, changing industries, homeownership is an anchor when you need to be mobile. Rent gives you options. Renting is not failure. Renting is strategy. Your 25-year-old self renting while investing aggressively will be wealthier at 35 than your 25-year-old self house poor and broke. And let's talk about the flexibility advantage that no one values until they need it. Job offer in another city? As a renter, you give 30 days notice and move. As a homeowner, you list your house, hope it sells quickly, pay commission, maybe take a loss, coordinate closings. It's months of stress. Housing market crashes? As a renter, not your problem. Your rent might even go down. As a homeowner, you're underwater and stuck. Roof leaks, pipes burst, HVAC dies. Renter calls landlord. Homeowner writes a check for thousands. Want to travel for 6 months? Renter sublets or breaks lease? Homeowner is stuck paying mortgage on an empty house? Home ownership is an anchor. Sometimes you want an anchor. Sometimes you want wings. Choose intentionally, not because society told you to. So why does everyone tell you to buy if renting can be smarter? Because they profit when you buy. Real estate agents make commission. On a $420,000 sale, the total commission is 6%. That's $25,200. Split between buyer and seller agents, each makes $12,600. They don't make anything when you sign a lease. Mortgage lenders make money on interest. Over 30 years, you'll pay $336,000 in interest on that $336,000 loan. They don't make money when you rent. Banks profit from origination fees, closing costs, and keeping you in debt for 30 years. Government profits from property tax revenue. Homeowners are a stable tax base. Your parents push you to buy because it worked for them. In 1985, the median home was $75,000. Median income was $23,000. Homes cost 3 times income. Today, median home is $420,000. Median income is $75,000. Homes cost 5 to 6 times income. It's a completely different game. The American dream of homeownership. That's marketing. Created post-World War II to boost the economy. Sold as wealth building, but often wealth trapping. It keeps you in one place. Keeps you working to pay the mortgage. Keeps you consuming because you need to fill the house. It's profitable for everyone except sometimes you. I'm not against homeownership. I'm against homeownership propaganda that ignores math and pushes people into bad decisions. Buy when it makes sense for you, not when someone else profits from your signature. Here's what you do. 3 steps. Step 1. Run your real numbers this week. Find homes in your area. Note the price. Calculate 20% down, monthly payment at current rates, add taxes, insurance, HOA, maintenance. Compare to rent. Can you invest the difference or will lifestyle eat it? Step 2. The 5-year test. Where will you be in 5 years? Same city, job, relationship, life phase. If any answer is probably not, rent. If all are definitely yes, buying might work. Most people overestimate stability. That's why 40% sell within 5 years and lose money. Step 3. Build your down payment fund. Whether you buy or rent, save that $80,000. If you buy in 2 years, you'll have 20% down. If you keep renting, you'll have $80,000 invested. Either way, you win. I rented for 12 years as an adult. People said I was wasting money. I invested $1,200 per month that whole time. Bought my house last year with $95,000 down payment is 18% of my income. Still invest $2,500 monthly. I bought when math and life aligned. Not because I felt pressure. You're not behind. You're making the decision that's right for you. Like if this changed how you see renting. Comment whether you're renting or buying and why. Share with someone feeling pressure to buy. Download the calculator in description.